Hi, my name is Jolivan. I'm a social worker with Home. We are an organization that looks into the rights of low-wage migrant workers in Singapore. So we provide assistance to construction workers, domestic workers, shipyard workers, migrants who have been abused and exploited in Singapore. Our work involves providing counseling, advice, legal aid and mediation whenever migrant workers get into trouble. But we realize that it's not enough. It's important that we connect all these issues which migrant workers come to us for with the structural conditions which perpetuate this injustice. So we do a lot of campaigns and advocacy to change legislation and policies so that the root causes of injustice and abuse is addressed. And we also do research, public education, and we share stories with mainstream media, with social media to raise awareness of the situation of low-wage migrant workers in Singapore. We talk about how many migrant workers are often left in the lurch when employers don't pay them, when they get injured, and when they don't have mechanisms for redress. Domestic workers is also another area of advocacy for us. Many low-wage migrant domestic workers are not covered by Singapore's Employment Act. So this means that the rights that we all take for granted, such as public holidays, limits to working hours, weekly days off, all this is denied to domestic workers. So a lot of our programs are aimed towards ensuring that these laws and policies are changed so that migrant workers can have a better deal in Singapore society, that their contributions are recognized and that they are not marginalized and exploited simply because of their nationality and their class. How Home works also is that we don't just speak for migrants, we try as much as possible to speak with the migrant workers. So we organize a lot of meetings and consultations with migrant workers themselves so that their concerns are reflected in our advocacy work. But it's often not easy for migrant workers in Singapore to be at the forefront of advocacy because they could easily lose their jobs or they could get into trouble here if they are active advocates for their own issues. This is an unfortunate situation here, but it is a limitation that we have to work with. My colleagues and I, we are very inspired by our founder Bridget Tan's vision of creating an inclusive society for migrant workers in Singapore. And this is why we continue to stay on in the organization and work towards this vision. Advocacy is something which isn't easy in Singapore because we have a very illiberal political environment, so this often stigmatizes advocates. But whether it takes years or whether it takes generations, this is something which needs to be done, and I think it is important for us to lay the groundwork for this change to happen.